Hello, Sudokuers. The first thing I have to do now that you're watching is admit something. I am a Sudoku addict. I do it in the car, I do it in front of the telly, on aeroplanes with the kids. I have even been known to do it in the bath, although that did get very soggy, so I wouldn't advise it. Now, you might already be converted. You might be one of us who grunt in response to questions from the family or sit in silence, smiling for hours on end with only a pencil and a puzzle to keep us company. You may have already entered the Sudoku zone, but whether you have or not, I hope that you enjoyed the fresh competitive challenge of this DVD. We've devised it so that for the very first time, we Sudokuers can play directly against each other. I'll explain how it works as we go along. If you're new to Sudoku, then don't worry, I will be taking you through the basics. And if you want some tips, then I've included a few to help you and loads of explanations of how to solve the challenges. Most of all, I want you to enjoy the cut and the thrust or the slice and the dice of Sudoku. All the best. Welcome to Sudoku, a world where your brain is about to do mental acrobatics. Now this is the temple of Sudoku, the 9x9 grid of little boxes. Please allow me to show you around. You'll see that the big grid is split into 9 smaller 3x3 boxes, or mini grids as I like to call them, by thick black lines. We have 9 Sudoku rows running from left to right. The top row is where else but on the top, and the bottom row is right at the very bottom. We have 9 Sudoku columns running up and down from the far left all the way along to the far right. The 9 mini-grids, the 9 rows and the 9 columns are the important building blocks of Sudoku. They are the key areas that you will keep on checking no matter which level of puzzle you try and no matter how brilliant you might become. As you keep on checking and then rechecking, they will reveal new clues and their own special pieces of magic, while you are sucked further and further into the world of Sudoku. Happy so far? Mini-grids, rows and columns. Now this is a partially completed Sudoku, but it tells us all we need to know about the rules of the game. In every row, you must have each of the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9. These can be in any order, they just happen to be in counting order in this example, starting with 1 and counting up. However, in nearly every puzzle you'll see, the numbers will be jumbled up. Now, the most important thing to remember about rows is that because there are 9 boxes in each row, and you have to put in the numbers from 1 to 9, it means that to follow the rules, no number can ever appear more than once in any row. So, in a completed row, there will only ever be a single 1, a single 2, a 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, a single 9. If you ever find a number appearing more than once, then you know instantly you've gone wrong and it's time to get the rubber out. Now, have a look at the first column on the far left of this Sudoku grid. You can see written in order from top to bottom the numbers 1, 4, 7, 2, 5, 8, 3, 6 and 9. Have another look at these numbers and you can see that they're all of the numbers from 1 to 9, they're just jumbled up. And that explains our next rule. In every column you must have each of the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9. Just as with every row, in every column these numbers can be in any order, and just as with rows, in columns you have to put in the numbers from 1 to 9, and no number can appear more than once in any column. So, rows and columns follow exactly the same rules. Now look at the mini-grid in the very centre of this Sudoku. The mini-grid has been completed, and although it includes bits of 3 different rows and bits of 3 different columns, the numbers written inside it are again the numbers from 1 to 9, and this is our third and final rule. In every mini-grid, you must have each of the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9. Just as with every row and column, in every mini-grid, these numbers can be in any order, and no number can appear more than once. And that is Sudoku. Those 3 rules determine every Sudoku puzzle. They are the rules that sometimes make you want to tear your hair out with frustration, but they're also the 3 rules that will give you the answer. So, just in case you missed them the first time, here they are again.
In every row, you must have each of the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9. In every column, you must have each of the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9. And in every mini-grid, you must have each of the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9.
Slicing and dicing. This is the golden technique used in Sudoku. Without it, you can't move on at all. It needs nothing more than a finger, which you can drag along a row or down a column. So if your finger is ready, sir or madam, please follow this. Have a look at this Sudoku. Now, the idea about slicing and dicing is you need to pick a mini-grid and you choose a number to place within it. So I'm going to choose this mini-grid here, and the number I'm going to try and place in this mini-grid is the number 3. So, what we have to do, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 empty boxes. Which one does number 3 go into? Let's have a look in this column here. We have a number 3 already placed in this column. We know with the rules that we can't have 2 of the same number in any column. So that means we can't place another 3 here, here or here. That means we only have 2 boxes available for the number 3 in this mini-grid. So let's have a look at this column. Here, there's another number 3. So let's drag our finger up. That means that we can't place a 3 in this box. Therefore, the only box available for the number 3 in this mini-grid is here. That is correct. So I'm going to write it in. That was nice. That was slicing. Let's do slicing and dicing now. Let's have a look at this mini-grid. I want to place the number 1 in this mini-grid. So let's have a look at the rows first of all. We already have a 1 on this row. So that means that box is crossed out for the time being for the number 1. We have a number 1 in this row. So that means this box and this box, we can't place a number 1 in either of those. So we're left with a number 1 possibly in here or possibly in here. This is the time we switch and we start looking at the columns. So let's have a look at this column. Yes, there is a number 1, more or less at the top. So let's drag our finger down. That means we can't place another number 1 in the column. So from all of these empty boxes here, there's only one place where we can put number 1 in this mini-grid, and that is it. That is correct. We have sliced and diced number 3 here and number 1 here. I'm going to show you a great way of finding out what fits into an empty box without slicing or dicing. Remember the rule that states every row, every column and mini-grid must have all of the numbers from 1 to 9. We'll have a look at this Sudoku. Have a very close look because there's some magical things starting to happen here. Here we have this row. Now this row has only one empty box, one missing number in it, but what is the missing number? Let's count from 1 to 9 to find the missing number. We have 1, we have 2, there isn't a 3 there yet, we have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9. So the missing number must be number 3, so we can immediately pop that in. That's a very quick thing, very nice thing to be able to do. Here it's the same with the column. Let's count 1, 2, no 3, we have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9. So this is also a 3. And here again we have a mini-grid with just one missing number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9. Obviously the missing number is number 8. That's lovely and it's fast. We've already discovered how to complete a row, a column or a mini-grid if there's only one missing number. But I'm going to show you now how you might be able to, it doesn't always work, but you might be able to complete a row, a column or a mini-grid if there are 2 missing numbers. what you do, as you did with one missing number, is you start to look at the column. Let's have a look at this one. And you start counting from 1 to 9 to find out which numbers are actually missing. So we start with 1. We haven't got it. Have a look for 2. It isn't there. We have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9. So the missing numbers are numbers 1 and 2. Now let's have a look in this box here and see if 1 or 2 is also placed in this row. Well, having a look along there doesn't give us any further information. So let's look at the other empty box. We're looking for 1 or 2 in this row, and we do have a number 2. Now, because we have this number 2, it means that we can't also place number 2 here. So, of the 2 missing numbers, number 1 and number 2, it has to be number 1, which is placed here, which means that we can immediately pop in number 2 up there. Now, we managed to do that without slicing and dicing. So that is a magical technique. I'm just going to show you another little method. It's very similar. Down here, we have a row with 2 missing numbers. Again, we count from 1 to 9. 1, 2, 3. We haven't got a 4. We have 5. We haven't got a 6. We have 7, 8, and we have 9. So the missing numbers are 4 and 6. Have a look at this box in this mini grid, and we can see there is already a 6 in this mini grid, so we can't put another one here. The missing numbers were 4 and 6, so it must be 4, which is placed here, and therefore 6 in here. 2 missing numbers, everything complete. This is a beautiful technique that I've christened slicing and slotting. First of all, we're going to try and slice and dice a number into a stack of mini grids like that, or a band of mini grids. You have to do this with 3 mini grids together. Okay, the number I'm going to choose is number 5. So now I'm going to try and slice and dice. Here into this mini grid, I have a 5 in this row, so I can place an option tick here for the number 5 in this mini grid. It could go in any one of these boxes, but I don't know which one yet. Having a look at this mini grid, it can't go here because there's a 5, but it might go there, or it might go there. Right, we move on down. It's not looking very promising at the moment. We have a 5 in the very bottom row, so that rules out that box. So we can put our option ticks, doesn't mean these boxes are right, but one of them will be, in those 4. Well, you look at that and you think, well, that's no use, is it? But this is where the slotting comes in. At this point, we start to slot down the columns. Let's have a look at this column. Here, you can see we have, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 places where the 5 might be placed, but we don't know which one. Here, again, we have lots of different options at the moment. But having a look at this column, you can see there is only one place where the 5 could be put, and that's there, so that must be right. And at this point, even though there are 3 possible options from slicing and dicing, by slotting down the columns, we can now write 5 in there, and that is correct. Sometimes you pick on a mini grid or a box and you can't slice and dice anything into it. But occasionally you manage to use this next technique to find the answer. I call this the only number that fits. But you have to choose a particular empty box to do it. So I'm going to choose this one. We're going to count from 1 to 9 in the row, the column and the mini grid which fits around this empty box. So let's have a look. Can we see a number 1 in the column? No. Can we see a number 1 in the row? No. Can we see a number 1 in the mini grid? No. So let's move on. There is a number 2 in the row. There's a number 3 in the mini grid. There's a number 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9 in the column, which means that number 1 is the only number that could be placed in that box. It is the only one that fits. There you are, number 1. When you begin to choose more difficult Sudokus and you're given fewer numbers in the grid to start with, it's harder to slice and dice numbers into position immediately. That's how a puzzle is set, to make it deliberately more difficult. Now, when you try to slice and dice, you'll find that you keep coming up with 2 or more options for boxes for a particular number. Have no fear, learn this next trick and it'll help you through beautifully. It's called writing options because that's exactly what we're going to do. First of all, you have to choose a mini grid, and I'm going to choose this one down in the very bottom. And then you start slicing and dicing all the different missing numbers into the grid. I'm going to start, just for this demonstration, with number 2. So here we have number 2 in this row. So that knocks out this box and this box. We have number 2 in this column, which knocks this box out. So we're left with 2 boxes where number 2 might be placed, but we don't know yet exactly where. So I'm going to write a little number 2 in the corner of each of those boxes to remind me. Now I'm going to choose number 5. Here we have 5 in this column, so it can't go in there. We have 5 in this column, so it can't go here or here. And we also have a 5 in the bottom row, so that rules out this box and this box, which means by slicing and dicing, we can place number 5. Lucky old us. Number 5 fits in here. At this point, I rub out, because you should use pencil really, and rub out that little tiny number 2 as an option. That means if you look at the grid now, there's only one place where a number 2 will fit. So you can write that in immediately. Of course, by slicing and dicing, again, you could have found that number 2 fits there, but this speeds you up tremendously. So writing options where you have just 2 or 3 boxes available to you is a lovely and fast method to use to speed up your Sudoku. OK, you've selected game option 1. Now your first job is to choose someone you trust to keep the score. Next, you need to decide whether you want to play an easy, medium or a difficult game. Now each game contains 10 challenges, and each of these challenges needs to be solved before you race to complete the whole Sudoku grid. So decide which level you're going to try. Choose a game from the menu and take the corresponding paper game slip for that level, keeping it face down so you don't look at it to avoid any cheating. For each challenge, one square on the grid will light up. Now this is the target number square you need to fill in with the correct number. So mark the square on your game slip, turn it over again and wait for the countdown clock.
I completed this challenge in 1 second. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
As soon as the timer starts, get those brain cells working and use all your Sudoku know-how to solve that challenge. Once you're sure you've got it right, shout Sudoku, make a note of your time and then sit back and gloat. When everyone has finished, select reveal answer to see whether you did actually get the challenge right or not. You get 1 point for a correct answer. And you get 3 points if you were the first to finish. But don't forget, I'm playing too, and if you beat my time, you get an extra 5 bonus points. If at this point you need a little breather, select how Carol did it, and I'll explain how I went about solving that particular challenge. It may help you out with the next one. If, on the other hand, you're raring to go, select next challenge and carry on. Once you've solved all 10 challenges, it's a race against the clock to complete the whole Sudoku puzzle. Remember, when you're sure you've got it right, shout Sudoku, note your time, put your pencil down, turn your game slip over and relax. There are big points at stake here. You get 5 points if you solve the puzzle correctly, 10 points if you're the first to get it right, and if you're smart enough to beat my time, you get a massive 15 bonus points. At the end of the game, the scorer adds up all the points to see who deserves the title Sudoku Challenge Champion. OK, let's get started with some easy puzzles. Remember, after you've completed each challenge, you can see how I worked them out by selecting how Carol did it. It might help you with the next challenge. Good luck.
Your target square is in column 4, row 4. I completed this challenge in 3 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The answer is number 3.
If you solved that challenge correctly, you score 1 point. If you were the first with the correct answer, you get 3 points. If you beat me, well done, you get 5 bonus points. I found that the 3 was the right number for our target box by slicing and dicing in this mini grid. So, number 3, we have a 3 in this column here, which rules out this box and this empty box in the mini grid. And we have a 3 in this row here, and that rules out this box again and this box, which means that in the mini grid we have sliced and we have diced the number 3 into our target.
Your target square is in column 4, row 6. I completed this challenge in 1 second. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The answer is number 1.
If you solved that challenge correctly, you score 1 point. If you were the first with the correct answer, you get 3 points. If you beat me, well done, you get 5 bonus points.
Your target square is in column 2, row 8. I completed this challenge in 2 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The answer is number 4.
If you solved that challenge correctly, you score 1 point. If you were the first with the correct answer, you get 3 points. If you beat me, well done, you get 5 bonus points.
Your target square is in column 8, row 8. I completed this challenge in 3 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The answer is number 5.
If you solved that challenge correctly, you score 1 point. If you were the first with the correct answer, you get 3 points. If you beat me, well done, you get 5 bonus points.
Your target square is in column 5, row 9. I completed this challenge in 3 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The answer.
If you solved that challenge correctly, you score 1 point. If you were the first with the correct answer, you get 3 points. If you beat me, well done, you get 5 bonus points.
Your target square is in column 6, row 1. I completed this challenge in 2 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The answer is number 6.
If you solved that challenge correctly, you score 1 point. If you were the first with the correct answer, you get 3 points. If you beat me, well done, you get 5 bonus points.
Your target square is in column 9, row 1. I completed this challenge in 3 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The answer is number 7.
If you solved that challenge correctly, you score 1 point. If you were the first with the correct answer, you get 3 points. If you beat me, well done, you get 5 bonus points.
Your target square is in column 9, row 4. I completed this challenge in 4 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The answer is number 4.
If you solved that challenge correctly, you score 1 point. If you were the first with the correct answer, you get 3 points. If you beat me, well done, you get 5 bonus points.
Your target square is in column 8, row 1. I completed this challenge in 3 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The answer is number 4.
If you solved that challenge correctly, you score 1 point. If you were the first with the correct answer, you get 3 points. If you beat me, well done, you get 5 bonus points.
I completed this challenge in 3 seconds.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
The answer is number 3.
If you solved that challenge correctly, you score 1 point. If you were the first with the correct answer, you get 3 points. If you beat me, well done, you get 5 bonus points.
Let's finish now by completing the whole puzzle. I completed the rest of this puzzle in 2 minutes and 43 seconds.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
If you completed the whole puzzle correctly, you get 5 points. If you were the first to finish the Sudoku grid and you got it right, you get 10 points. If you completed the puzzle faster than I did, well done, you get 15 bonus points. Excellent, I hope you enjoyed that. There are plenty of other Sudoku grids to battle over on this DVD, so come back to us for more challenges that will pickle your brain. See you soon. This game option is great when you've got a group of mixed ability Sudoku fanatics because it allows players of all levels to compete against each other fairly. Getting started is simple. First, choose someone to keep the scores. Then select any one of the 30 puzzles from the menu. Next, take the printed game slips for your selected puzzle. Now, once you've chosen a puzzle, each player takes an easy, medium or difficult version of it from the printed game slips and keeps it face down, and they will choose that depending on their ability. The beauty here is that everyone is playing exactly the same game. It's just that an easy game slip has more numbers on it than a medium one, which in turn has more numbers on it than a difficult one. This means a head start for less experienced players and an even harder challenge for you Sudoku wizards. Each puzzle contains 10 challenges which need to be solved before you race to complete the whole Sudoku grid. But don't forget, you're not just racing against each other, you're going to try to beat me as well. And I'll be playing at the difficult level and then telling you how long it took me to solve each challenge, and there are bonus points at stake here. Now, for each challenge, one square on the grid will light up. This is your target square. Mark it, turn your game slip back over and wait for the countdown clock. As soon as the timer starts, go for it. Use all your Sudoku know-how and maybe even one or two of my little Sudoku secrets. And when you're sure you've got the right answer, shout, Sudoku. Make a note of your time and try not to look too smug. When everyone's finished, check who got it right by selecting Reveal Answer and then tot up your scores. You score 1 point, no matter how long it took, for solving the challenge correctly. You score 3 points if you were the first to get it right, and you score 5 bonus points if you beat me. As soon as you're ready, select Next Challenge and get those thinking caps on again. Once you've solved all 10 challenges, it's another race against the clock to complete the whole Sudoku grid. Remember, when you've filled in all the blanks correctly, shout out Sudoku. Make a note of your time, put your pencil down, turn your game slip over and relax. There are more big points to be played for here. If you solve the puzzle correctly, no matter how long it took, you get 5 points. If you were the first to get it right, you get 10 points. And if you beat my time, you're a Sudoku champion in the making and you get 15 bonus points. At the end of the game, the player with the highest score wins. It's simple.